Co-parenting is challenging. It's challenging. You're not always going to see eye to eye with anybody, even someone you love, but someone that you are not with anymore, you still have to show up. You still have to raise a child together. And the reality is that there are things that cannot be different at different homes. Like, this is one child.
I don't got it all planned out, but you know, I just watch it all pan out, 'cause I know that you know, covered in this life until forever.
Jazz Smollett, welcome to the Cool Mom Code podcast.
I love this, Lizzy. This is so cute. And I don't know if y'all can see here, but it's so cozy.
It's cozy.
It's really sweet.
I think though at some point in some season, I am going to switch to a couch. Because I'm a lot more of like a super cozy. I like hands-on. Sometimes I want to touch like all these things. And I feel so separate. Like so separate.
You.
So for me, it's too much of a disconnect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I love
like
the
a
fact that
conversation.
It's a conversation, but like, you know.
We just did a podcast studio on Living by Design.
Oh, you did?
For someone. Yeah, it aired a couple weeks ago.
That's so good. So listen, if y'all don't know, Jazz is basically my like alter ego. So she and I are like twins, which is crazy. But so Jazz has a design show. She has a food show. Her personality is over the moon.
Oh,
I mean, honestly, you act like, if you've met Jazz, you feel like you know her. That's instant. And so I get so much warmth from you. I feel like you always like come in and you shine very brightly.
Oh, thank you.
And so I love that. And so look, I see it. I recognize it.
Lizzy.
Listen,
Keep talking.
I recognize it. I'm not even playing. Look at this, all these curls and these smiles.
Oh, thank you.
And so I want to jump into it though, because one, I think I'm always so fascinated that you come from such a big family, but not even just that. I feel like y'all are all like, how did y'all all get the acting or entertainment or like industry bug?
It was
like,
my mom.
What was that?
Yeah, so it was my mom. Like she did theater in New Orleans in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, and just her personality. She is bigger than life of the party to
Bigger
this
than
day.
you.
I've picked up a few things from her. You know, I used to be really shy.
Really?
I was hiding under her skirt.
No way.
Yeah, I was. I was painfully shy. Second grade, I stayed in for about 2 months until they pulled me out to do homeschool again.
Wow.
We were all mostly homeschooled.
Really?
Yeah, and I was just painfully shy until I had to stand up for myself in second grade.
Wow.
And my mom and my dad were really big advocates on speaking up and speaking out, standing up for yourself. Social justice. They met in Oakland, California.
Wow.
My mom was part of the liberation movement and friends with Angela Davis, and to this day. And so we come from this like kind of community driven. Not that this, I veered off, I feel like, because it has nothing to do with entertainment.
No, you come from this community-driven world, right?
Yeah, and so, and that encompasses art and social justice and education and all of these things. And my mom just kind of listened to us when we were little, and I started modeling in New York when I was like 7.
That's wow. So all 6 of you.
Yeah. There weren't 6 yet because I'm number 2.
You're number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So
tell
us the age.
time.
Like, to how far apart is everybody? Because you guys are pretty tight in ages.
We are. My mom was having kids from 24.
There we go.
Until she was 42. She didn't stop, y'all. What? She was like yeah.
That's fascinating.
And then nursing, breastfeeding the whole time.
And homeschooling. And then homeschooling.
So Ashley, I've talked to Ashley
yes,
and been like, why you and my mom
Ashley
got so much in common.
That's right.
Like, I
love that.
I was like, oh my gosh, you remind me of a young version of when my mom was young. Yeah.
Yes. I still am fascinated about how that even works. Like how she's able to divide and conquer time and energy. You know, as a parent of 3, I don't know how it gets done. As a parent of 6,
I have one child.
Yes,
but also, it's also the kids too. Like my daughter, I think she thrives more being in social settings with a bunch of peers and navigating all these things and then coming home to me and telling me these stories. And then we talk about it like, he said, what? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, this is how we, talk about that and navigate that. And then there's lessons for life. Right. And she has a foundation. And at the same time, she loves school. Yes. Like loves it. Like if I tried to keep her home, she would be like, wait, what?
You don't think she's a good candidate for homeschooling?
No, we tried during the pandemic.
But are you a good candidate?
No, girl.
Okay, so listen.
I cook this child 3 meals a day. Like I can do all of that stuff.
Yes.
I am a doting mother. I have to say.
Yes.
Everyone who knows me knows I love that child.
Yes.
I love my baby
so much. Of course.
My little mini me.
Of course.
Although I'm not trying to make her me.
That's right.
She's her own person.
She's her own individual. Look at you. You have all the bullet points down. You have bullet point A, B, and C. She's her own person.
She's her own person.
Okay, but look, going back into a childhood with 6 other siblings, right? 5 other siblings. Yeah. 6 of you all together. How does that work in a family dynamic? I just think with big families, I think they're so special.
They are.
And I think that it's such a beautiful thing when you have a big family because you never feel like you're alone and you feel like you're learning so many social kind of cues and experiments, even just within the household with each other because there's so many of you. How is that now with all of y'all in at that time in the industry?
We all supported each other.
I love that.
So we all showed up for each other. We had no option.
Yeah.
We were what we had.
That was what mom and dad instilled.
Oh, they expected it. And my mom, she didn't play. No, you would get in trouble for not being nice to a sibling.
I love that.
But I remember one time being 12 and saying to my sister, stop following me. Oh,
That's the worst thing you could have said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And my mom was like, you're going to be sorry when you get older. If you it was this whole thing. There was no room. There was no tolerance for not being close.
Right. Right.
So we were like a farm family. So we did everything together.
What's a farm family mean?
A farm family means everyone had to do everything. Like you all had to pick up the slack. Like I was definitely changing some diapers, definitely making bottles, definitely taking the kids out to play. Is this a terminology?
Farm family?
We kind of made this up. Like, we just say that to each other. We're like, because on a farm, it seems like, I mean, I've never worked on a farm. It seems like everyone participates.
Chips in
all the chores.
That's right.
In all the things. Everyone's responsible for each other.
Right.
I was definitely responsible for the younger kids as a tween and teenager. Definitely responsible for if they played outside or not, or making dinner.
I always feel like the older kids, always with that responsibility, it carries on. Like my daughter always says it to me. She's always like, I think she appreciates that she gets to experience things before the other ones. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think it's a heavy load on her. She's always like almost like, why do I have to? Like, why do I have to? Did you feel like that? Because listen, there would be if you're number 2, there would be what? 4 underneath you.
My brother Jesse is 2 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
2 years and 2 months. So but also, to be fair, once they got to a certain age, they had a lot of responsibility too.
Yeah. We
all had to share responsibility. And yes, being an older one, I kind of picked up this, we joke about it on our show, Jake and I, that I'm the boss. Uh-huh. I just have seniority.
Yes.
And I've changed his diapers when we were little. So
because he's younger than you.
He's younger. He's number 5.
Wow. So he's one of the babies of the family.
See, when everyone grows up, it's hard to tell.
That's right. It sure is. Yes, especially with these genetics. Okay. These genetics looking like you the baby over here. I'm like, okay, where do they fall? Where does everyone go? Because you're right. You just can't tell.
It's harder to tell. And then I have 4 brothers and they all look similar.
Yeah. And they all grown men.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely, there's definitely like, certain response. Like I helped my youngest brother with his college essays and his, because he was super young. Like I was an adult when he was applying to colleges. And I remember I was living on my own, you know, obviously. Wow. And when he was laying on my couch when he found out where he was going to school.
Is that something that you guys have done? Like, are you guys now as adults the type of family where you, like if one person is going through transition or whatever, y'all will fly to the person, or you guys will like,
oh, we're always going to show up.
Come stay on my couch for a couple weeks. Are you guys that family?
Yeah, he was a kid. Like if we did need, if any of us needed to do that, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, of course. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we roll deep.
Yes. Like, you get one of us
with my people.
You get one of us, you get all of us.
You do.
Yeah.
And it's like,
is that hard in relationships though? I can only imagine. I have 2 older brothers. Okay.
Oh.
And my husband is one of, he has half siblings, but just like between his mom and dad, he's one of 4.
Oh. Okay.
And his sister and I, we started off so rocky, but now we're like the best of friends.
Okay.
But it's the same mentality, right? You get one of them, you get all of them.
Was it because they were close that it was rocky, or is just different personalities?
No, she was just being shady to me, and I was like calling her out, and she got mad, and like then we just like were kind of a little rocky, and she was like, she was in her own little feelings and blah blah. Now though, she actually had her first child 6 months before me, and before I had my first child, and so that relationship, like those moments bonded us so much, and then we're like the best of friends. Now I can call her for anything, everything. Yeah. Super supportive. We love each other to death. But it's interesting. You get one of y'all.
I'm the sibling that I'm going to embrace all the people, because I just don't want y'all to feel bad till I see something.
That's right.
I see something.
That's right.
You know.
And by y'all, you mean all the outsiders who's not in your family. You see that wording?
I know.
That's the wording.
You said outsiders.
You said y'all.
I said y'all.
I don't want y'all. Which means all y'all who's outside of this unit.
No, but it's gotten better, I think.
That's
like,
good,
at
though.
first, people were really embraced. So my older brother, he got it down to a science. I don't know what he does, but like, his wife, like we were always really cool with her.
I love that.
Like always. Mm-hmm. My Jake is engaged.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we love her. Like people pretty much get along because we all just kind of gather at our house and cook together and just hang out and party. Like I think we
bring people in.
I don't want to say suck people in.
But I mean, I can only imagine with a big family like that, you're probably used to having so many people too, that more the merrier kind of mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And we were the kids who, when we were growing up, like our neighbor, there was a little girl next door who would just come in our house and take yogurt out of the fridge.
What?
When I was like 3 or 4 years old. What? Like we were just kind of open doors.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Y'all really did live on a farm. There you go.
Basically. But when I say a farm, let me extrapolate. So my mom built all of our furniture.
No, she did not.
Yeah, so we write about this in our cookbook in the family table. She built all the furniture, talking beds, couches.
What?
Even. Coffee tables, of course. Tables. So the family table is about the table that she would always build, a 6-foot butcher block table at every place we'd go.
What was your daddy doing?
He was assisting her.
While your mama was over here building these tables. I know he was like, I have married Superwoman.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was assisting her until then. She had my brothers assisting her, or me, or, or my sister, or whoever. But it was like, we was building stuff.
That's amazing.
Like, and then and everything was made from scratch. She was a real kind of like woman of the earth. Mm-hmm. Like she didn't, or is still, like she didn't trust a lot of foods.
Oh my God.
She would cook it.
Is she the OG Nara? You know the Nara who was like exploding on social media?
Yeah, because my mom was from the 70s and 80s and 90s. So she was like, she was doing that more like necessity. Yes, absolutely. Making stuff from scratch. I make things from scratch because I love doing that.
But I'm not making gum from scratch.
Oh, I ain't never heard of that.
Yes, this is what Nara does.
But we could do it.
We could do anything.
We can do anything,
We can do
Lizzy.
anything. Is that where your passion for food and design came from your mom?
Yeah, definitely. So like I kind of took on loving to create celebrations.
Yeah.
So I love, and food to me is the center of those celebrations. Like to me, food is the center of the home.
Yes.
So the kitchen
I say
is.
the same
Yes.
thing. It's the heart of the home.
It's the heart. And it's really about bringing people together in community. And it's about the humanitarian aspect of food.
Right.
Lifestyle in general.
Yeah.
It's about how do we celebrate? How do we live? How do we adorn ourselves and our homes and our spaces? How do we adorn our foods? Because we don't eat just for nourishment most times.
Right.
Obviously, there are spaces
you
where
eat with your eyes first.
you do.
You always eat with
and
your
then
eyes
the
first.
flavors that we savor, like, and where they come from. I just wrote I write a column now for Macro newsletter.
Yes.
And it's called Dinner Party. Oh, sorry, y'all.
That's okay. They don't hear.
Yeah, and so the column is called Dinner Party, and the first article was about curry.
Yes. You know, I had a show called Dinner Party People.
That's right.
And it was basically the same thing, but go ahead. Go.
I love dinner party. Like I used to always be the person putting together the tablescape or setting, like growing up. And then, you know, dinners and holidays would often be at my house.
Yes.
And I love entertaining and giving a little theme.
That's right.
With it,
That's right.
know?
Love it.
And like really making it a festive occasion, no matter how small or how large, no matter how small the occasion that we're celebrating, but there's always something to celebrate.
That's right.
Just like finding those spaces for joy
Yeah,
in
and
everyday
gratitude.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so much fun. But yes, I definitely got that from my mom. And I definitely started cooking when I was 7. There's a picture of me when I'm 8 stuffing the turkey.
No way.
Someone had to stuff the turkey.
Of everybody in the family, were you the one who kind of like followed in your mom's shadow, kind of like that with food and design and all that? Or do you all share like that love in some way?
It's hard to say because we're all 6 the same people. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm afraid.
I'm just
afraid
joking.
already. Look, I'm afraid to come to y'all
like,
house. Y'all celebrate for real. Y'all gonna be in the kitchen just over there, just like
we be
grouped
we
together.
be in the kitchen, but there's a certain core who cooks. Honestly, my older brother, he's not as much, but he can.
That's great.
And my youngest brother, he has gotten really good.
Better. Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay, good.
lately he's really good. He's a real foodie.
Oh,
But he
nice.
works in tech.
Okay.
So yeah, like I definitely, as far as loving to entertain and loving to kind of the homesteading type of thing,
Yes.
like I definitely did get that from my mom and my aunt.
Oh, okay, nice. The women
my
in the
aunt
family.
loves
Yeah.
doing stuff like that, and you know, a nice invitation and like a little, yeah.
I love
Like,
that.
but my sister, she kills a cheese board.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go. Look,
But also can cook.
I've been
like
trying to teach my
everyone.
daughter how to do a cheese board. You
Oh,
start with a
really?
cheese board and it grows into something else.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Does Nyla, your daughter, does she?
She does.
Love
she
to cook?
loves it.
Nice.
Matter of fact, she and I hosted an ice cream social
Oh.
at our house and had her little friends over. And at one point, she's so upset because she wanted to do it. She wanted to serve it. She wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, I realize, Jazz, pass the torch.
Oh, wow.
This is her.
This is her
I
moment.
realized that she loves doing that stuff too. And so I was like, okay, next party, I'm gonna stay out of the way. Like whatever and if you need help, fine. But you gonna cook all the food.
That's
but
how
she
you teach it.
loves,
Yeah.
She makes her mac and cheese. She makes a good mac and cheese.
There you go. You starting them young.
Yeah.
I love that.
You have to.
So with you being raised with, you know, obviously this mentality that everyone chips into the family.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of contributes. It's a group effort. With Nyla, has that influenced how you parent her?
Yeah, definitely. So I think though, you know, we're in a new age.
We are in a new
Right?
age. Yes.
And with parenting, like they didn't have Google and they didn't have the parenting books we have now.
Right.
And I think we're a lot more careful or gentle with
I'm just going to ask you.
Yeah.
What does conscious parenting, what does that mean to you?
To me, conscious parenting is your work is on yourself.
Okay.
And that's actually where Dr. Smollett and I hope I'm saying her name right. Okay. No, I might be saying it wrong. Okay, so the doctor who wrote the book, Conscious Parenting, that's what she talks about, is that it is about centering yourself and working on yourself and parenting basically from the inside out.
Okay, tell me more.
So that it's like, it's not all about what the kid is doing or not doing. It's about how are you communicating, and why is what they're doing or not doing activating you so much?
Give me an example.
And look, we ain't got time for all this sometimes.
Give me an example. Tell me what you mean, though. Give me an example.
It's like you tell your kid, go do this. And I'm trying not to be too specific because my daughter is 10 now and I feel like she has privacy.
Take mine. Go make your bed.
Okay.
I tell my daughter to go make her bed. Then what happens?
Okay, so I say, go make your bed. And they do everything under the sun.
Not to make
and go in the room that the bed's not in.
Okay.
And you're like, the bed's in there.
Right.
And it takes way too long.
Okay.
To get it started.
Okay.
Right. Basically, they ain't listening.
Right. They're not doing what they were asked to do.
So it could either become about that they're not listening to me. Okay. Which is you're offended.
Right.
Like, and not that this doesn't happen sometimes. It does happen sometimes. Yeah. Like, I could either be offended and start to make it about, how dare you not listen to me? I'm your mother. I carried you for 9 months. I birthed you. Okay. I nursed you for 2.5 years. You fed from my body.
That's right.
If you don't listen to anyone else in this world, you need to listen to, it could become all about that.
Okay, because I'm hearing that. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm right there with you. Now tell me what the alternative is.
Or it could be about, what is it that you think you're supposed to be doing right now? Okay. Like turning it back on their responsibility.
I see.
And what is their responsibility? And so what's going on that you're not doing this right now? Yeah. Okay. Like what's going on? Like, okay, like that there's an attempt to connect. And then what's challenging is we ain't gonna be perfect. I'm not.
Correct.
And sometimes that bed needs to be made right now because we're running out the door for school.
Okay, so it's less about, okay, I get it. Okay, got it. So it's less about making it almost their act of disobeying. Yeah. And more of why do they feel the need? Like, what is it that is either veering their attention off or feeling like they don't need to do this activity or this act that was asked of them?
Right. And then putting things in place to set them up for success of being responsible and taking autonomy. Okay. Because that's the thing. Like, I felt like for a while at a point, because every stage changes so much. It makes it so hard. If they could just, once we figure it out, they change.
You just wait till they hit like preteen status and teenager. There we go. This is going to be a whole different conversation.
Lord.
You can be like, conscious parenting. Like, what you say? I said. So I was just like, go ahead.
But it's really challenging.
That could be a challenge.
But it's like working on yourself. Because otherwise I'm going to feel guilty.
Are you?
Like, I don't do certain stuff because I don't react certain ways because I'm going to feel guilty.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. That's and then it's not worth it.
What do you feel guilty about? Like, you mean feel guilty about how you've reacted to Nyla or to the situation?
I would feel guilty if I just like straight out yelled at her because she's not listening.
Right.
Oh, I would feel guilty. And then that's going to keep me up all night. That's how I am.
Really?
Lizzy.
Wow.
I'm just like that. That's so interesting. In general.
Are you like that as a parent and a person in life? Yeah. Or just as a parent?
No, both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, when I was a kid, I was like, I ain't kidding.
Wow.
But yeah, now like I have this like deep like.
What is it?
I stay short of it, like not wanting to sound like high.
No.
You know, whatever. Yeah. But I have a really deep moral compass. And not that yelling at your kid is the worst. It's not that that's horrible or that makes you horrible. It's just for me, if I feel that I'm trying not to do something, then I'm gonna feel bad about it. Yeah. So I'm working on not feeling guilty about stuff or not like beating myself up.
What other guilts do you have? Do you have mom guilt? In terms of like you do.
Oh my gosh, if I leave to shoot my show for just 3 weeks.
Really?
I'm with this child all the time. Like literally, she has virtually, because of my work and how I'm like, you know, like you shoot something and then you're back home.
Right.
So you're working from home most of the time, or, you know, I am working from home most of the time. So I'm like involved in the school. I'm on the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Council.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. I definitely get on some of the staff's nerves sometimes.
Of course you
bringing
do.
things up.
As you should.
But as long as my child is at this school.
That's right. You're an active participant.
I am
in
definitely
the
a parent advocate.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just also a really quick note. If you're loving this content, our podcast with all of our amazing guests, we love sharing their stories. It really is such a joy for us. Then you're going to love thecoolmom.co. Make sure to head over there. It is everything that you can think of lifestyle. So we have fashion, food, we have amazing interviews with a lot of other cool moms as well. So check out all of our Cool Mom Co features, shop our merch, do all the things. Check out thecoolmom.co.
But yes, so
you're very a part of her world.
I'm
in so many
very
ways,
a part of her world.
But yet you still experience mom guilt.
Yeah.
When you're away.
Yeah, it's not just being away. It's like, oh gosh, if I were to go on like a girls' trip and I had her, so because I'm co-parenting, so I'm divorced from her dad.
That's right. You've heard it here first. We've broken news.
I've been saying that.
Broken news. Google, pay attention.
Been the case, right? Google,
pay attention. She's no longer in a marriage. She is divorced. Okay. But you guys are awesome at co-parenting. You are great co-parenters.
We're good co-parenters. And she is getting, you know, what she needs from both of us.
That's awesome.
And
which is working
co-parenting
itself.
is challenging. It's challenging. You're not always going to see eye to eye with anybody, even someone you love, but someone that you are not with anymore, you still have to show up. You still have to raise a child together.
That's right,
and the reality is that there are things that cannot be different at different homes. Like, this is one child. For the most part, the foundation of how we raise her and how we, before even having her, talked about raising her and how we were raising her before the divorce, which was not very long, but the foundation of that we agree on.
Great.
So that is, you know.
So she gets that in both households.
Yeah. And so like there's no major differences in discipline techniques or, you know, it's not like I'm like, oh my gosh, my child is over there having the worst time or something, and it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like, thank God.
Thank God.
You know, and so that's a positive. Like, we're pretty much on the same page in the foundation.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Yeah, but it's still, it's not easy because there's nuances to work out and whatever, like, you know, scheduling and all these things. And that's not an easy part. And ultimately, I want my child all the time. So that's the hardest part of it. Like, I would want her just with me all the time. But
what do you do to combat some of the mom guilt? What do you do to combat
the mom guilt comes
when you're working, you're busy. I mean, obviously, as a single parent too, you are doing all the things to make sure you're thriving on all levels at the same time. You know, like, this is all happening.
Yeah. Like,
I was raised by a single parent. And so my mom was all the things all at once. She was constantly, right? But she would do a couple of things to kind of recenter herself and get her back, and to not have, I think, that true sense of what mom guilt really is, and how it can just kind of sit on your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
And stress that it builds. What do you do to release that?
So I'm curious about that because,
or have you not?
So since you were raised by a single mom, I wonder if you are able to put mom guilt in perspective better. Because I was raised by, my parents were together.
That's right. And your mom did so much.
And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So my mom guilt started long time ago because I was like, how am I going to do I have all these dreams and I'm going to do all these things and I am busy and I have other things to do and I'm her mom. And so I'm constantly juggling and trying to do all the things in all the areas.
We are unpacking it. Today we are unpacking it all because you're absolutely right. I wonder if that does play a role in how you see yourself as a mother and the type of mother that you wish to live up to. Right. And when you are not doing all those things, right? Even if it's just a fraction of what that is, when you're not doing all those things, do you feel like, you're not being the best mother that you can be?
Yeah, and I've gotten much better with it lately.
That's good.
Like, honestly,
How have you gotten better with it?
I have realized that my relationship with my daughter is solid and goes beyond the 24/7 time with her.
That's right.
So if I'm away and that our relationship is like when I was pregnant with her, I was meditating with her. Mm-hmm. I was reading to her since I was 9 weeks pregnant. We still read together. Mm-hmm. We're reading the second of the trilogy for Rita Williams Garcia's books. Yeah. The One Crazy Summer we read last year when she was in 4th grade. And then now we're reading PSB 11. We love these books. And she thinks it's so cool that I have talked to Rita Williams Garcia. Like you would think I was knowing Beyonce or something. Right. Nyla loves to read so much.
I love that.
And we both do. Mm-hmm. And so, for instance, those types of things, we're going to do that whether I'm on FaceTime with her because she's not with me. Mm-hmm. And being real, she's with me a lot. Yeah. Because also I work from home and she, for the most part, but then obviously there's those times where I'm like, oh, I got to switch up the schedule, the parenting schedule or something, because I have to leave town. And if I'm working, like we shoot the show in New York and New Jersey. Okay. The first season we shot in LA. Okay. Yeah, but we shoot in New York and New Jersey now. And basically the tri-state area, sometimes Pennsylvania. And when I have to leave for 3 weeks, well, I take her for like the first week. And then I have my brother or my cousin or someone, whoever's available, fly her back.
The village.
Yes, the village. Absolutely. Yeah. Fly her back to LA so she can go back to school and she can be with her dad for the rest of the time. And then I make up time when I come back home.
So you figure it out.
Yeah, but I feel bad still, or I did last year. We'll see this year. But I'm getting better.
As she gets older, does your mom guilt dissipate or does it get stronger?
No, it's gotten less. Okay. It's gotten less because I've grown as a mom.
Right.
Oh my gosh, girl.
I know.
When she was first born,
this is the thing,
I couldn't let that child go.
I know.
I had so much anxiety.
What I feel now, and it's interesting because I did too. I've felt mom guilt before, like in the very beginning stages, but I think I've always just reminded myself that one, I have to do it because this is we are in a household where dual income is very important and I enjoy all the things that I do. And so this is going to be my best self for me to thrive. And I remember my sister-in-law, she said something to me very early on.
The one who had kids before
Nope, this is a different one.
Oh, okay.
She said something to me very early on. She had like slightly older children. And she said she was going on some girls trip or something like that. And I'm like, dang, you just going to leave your babies and go on this girl trip? And she was like, let me tell you something, okay? She was like, I am so much better of a mother by going on this trip than by not.
That's so
And
true.
when she said it to me, I was like, oh. Huh.
Yeah.
And now I understand. Yeah. There is something that happens to me when I am either working or away or whatever that I am able to bring back to them that I'm so much more enriched and fuller, right? And all these things. And so I constantly just repeat to myself that like, okay, this is for a reason. It's not like, it's not whatever. But I will say, this is what I will say. Although I had that little chunk when they were like babies, as they get older, I am feeling the twinges a little bit more because they're recognizing it more. So they're a little bit more attached to the moments that you miss. they're a little bit more attached to like, hey, but I need to talk to you right now, Mom.
Yeah.
You know, and so when you're not there to like catch those moments going into like preteen and teenagehood, I'm like, and I don't want them to find that source elsewhere. Like obviously within the family is fine, but I never want them to go like to.
Can you preempt those conversations?
Friends. Well, you can't. That's the thing. When things happen, you know, these are
when
young minds who like if things happen and occur and feelings, and it's also sporadic. Yeah. And so it's interesting. I'm feeling slight emotions of what you have right now, right? I'm feeling that a little bit more as they get older. That's why I asked. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll get ready for that. No, because for me, it has lessened a bit as she's gotten older because our relationship, we're able to talk about so much more.
Of course.
And I'm able to talk to her about that. I want her to be able to have her dreams.
That's right.
And do these things as well.
Right.
And so because of having a daughter, I've started to realize what is it that I would want her to do if she were me? What do I want for her? And that's what I have to model. So do I want her putting herself last or feeling guilty or trying to, you know, not live the rest of her life? Or do I want to show her that I'm a woman? I'm a full woman.
Full.
Yes, a full woman. And that I have a lot of different aspects of my life. And she is such a gift in my life. And that mother-daughter bond cannot be broken, and just feeling confident in that. And I've learned that through time, and then realizing, well, what do I want to model for her? Because she's just gonna, you know, if she sees me walking around feeling guilty and not ever doing anything for myself,
what does that mean for her?
Yeah, like what does that mean for her? She definitely wants to be. She's such a maternal little. She was reading one of my child development books the other day.
She's you.
She's
you. Just like you were your mom.
Right.
You know, just like you were your mom. Okay, I want to talk a little briefly about working with your brother, because let me tell you something. Okay, I work with my husband sometimes, and I almost feel like I'm like, how is this even like a thing? How do people do this? I could not imagine in a million years, and I adore my brothers to the ends of the earth. I could never imagine working with them. I could never imagine going into like something, especially on camera at that. Yeah. Like where you guys can't even hide the emotion, where it's just like right there when he says something or you say something. How has that experience been?
Well, we are super close.
I love it.
We always have been. Jake has always been my little baby. Like he was always attached to me when we were growing up. He was always going to defend me. He was like, we did a show when I was a young teenager and he was little. And I remember telling him I would get annoyed because he wouldn't stand on his mark. He was so wild. And now he still doesn't stand on his mark. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been really great. Like the only time we butt heads is in the design process. So we're in pre-production. Like we're really like designing these shows. Like, and he's really building these things because we love doing this stuff, like for real. And so I'm in pre-production with my design partner, and shout out to Jen, love you.
Hi, Jen.
And so I'm in pre-production with her, and we're designing like 16 spaces at once. She's like sending me stuff, and we do a lot of Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. I can say it on here. We don't say it on the show. On the show, I say online thrifting.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and so we do a lot of that really because of budget constraints.
That's right.
And also we're upcycling. Yeah. Like it's sustainable, but the real, like the ultimate reason is we're trying to get this space done as beautifully as possible for as little as possible.
That's right. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, do I know all about that? Yes.
Yeah. No, it's real. And so you're really trying to get these spaces. And there's also very few, and it's time budget. It's time constraints.
And you leave all the furniture with the families, right?
Absolutely.
Because you know there's some shows that take them.
Absolutely, no.
Yeah, we don't either.
And people have asked us, we get to keep this. I'm like, yes.
We leave all of our furniture too.
Yes.
I mean, the shows that don't,
I'm just staging.
No.
It's for
wild.
them. Like, we're really there to transform lives. Like, we're really there. We did one episode where this mom had fallen on hard times during the pandemic. She moved back in with her parents, and they were sharing her older brother's old bedroom. She and her 6-year-old daughter. And we're like, yeah, like, and that space can be beautiful. And not everyone's story is a cookie cutter, like, you know, parents and 2 kids, and we're going to do the house and it's all going to be the same neutral color.
No, we don't do that either.
Style.
No, that is a big thing.
That's like when people ask me, because I take design clients on the side too, because girl, I got 12 jobs, by the way.
Look, so Renaissance woman over here, she is doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, like people, you know, I can't remember where I was going. My brother, he's great.
He's awesome. He's awesome. You're transforming lives.
Yeah, we're transforming lives, and we're doing it together. And really, we work really well together.
That's
actually,
awesome.
Like, he's like I was saying, the only time we might butt heads is in the design process and pre-production, when I'm like, and my design partner is like, okay, Jake, we need you to build this particular thing for this room.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to paint wood. It needs to be raw wood. You know, it's that type of thing. And he doesn't, and then we might butt heads. That's just an example.
Right.
We might butt heads over that, but we come to a resolution. And when he's first
do you guys show yourselves butting head on camera or no? That's always just behind the scenes.
It's behind the scenes because it usually happens before.
Okay.
And we don't really butt heads that hardcore.
Yeah.
The butting of the heads is like, and then it explodes into the best thing.
I see.
So that's how I see butting heads.
Girl.
I love collaboration.
Yeah, so different from my show. Right. Yes. We butt heads on camera. We butt heads off camera. We butt heads. I mean, but it's all love. It's all based on love, and we have like a great time, and it's super fun. But I love that experience for you, Jazz. I really do. I love that.
It's
I love
fun.
that for
and
you.
And it's like, we, you know, he usually concedes.
Yes, of course, because you
younger.
are. No, because you are the boss.
Sister.
That's what he said. You are the boss.
He has said it.
That's right.
But all jokes aside, like, it really, I think because we have our lanes also. So like, I'm in charge of the design.
Yeah.
And he's in charge of the build, either an original build or refurbishing a piece.
That's right.
For that. And then he's in charge of the meal. So we cook a reveal meal at the end. He's in charge of the meal, and I'm in charge of the dessert.
Let's talk about meals, because food is the heart of your soul in your home, just like me.
Yeah.
It always has been. I was raised in the kitchen with my mom and my grandma, and I never realized the type of impact it would have on me and as an adult.
Yeah.
And it's had such a profound impact on how I run my household, how I feed my children, and just honestly how much zen and peace I get from being in the kitchen. What is the meal that you would say reminds you the most of home? And then what is the meal that you love to entertain with the most?
Okay, the meal that reminds me most of home is going to be like gumbo or an oyster po' boy.
Yes.
My mom's from New Orleans.
Yes.
And yeah, that's definitely what, and nobody makes gumbo like my mom. I'm sorry.
I'm coming over.
Yes,
I'm
do,
coming over.
for
Yes.
real. All
Yes.
jokes aside, come over.
Yes.
It's the kind of big pot of it all.
Yes.
It's the community. We used to get that most birthdays.
Big old pot too.
Big pot. This is the giantest pot.
The giantest pot. I'm like, I don't even have a pot that big in my house. And every time I have any sort of any sort of gathering or anything at the house, I'm like, why don't I have, where's my big pot?
Where's my big pot? That's what somebody's always asking. Your sister-in-law,
That's right.
somebody
Where's my
took
big
it.
pot?
Because somebody's always trying to take the big pot.
That's right.
Who took mommy's
Who
big
took the
pot? Oh, Jake has
so
it.
What is the dish that you love to create and cook when you're entertaining people over?
See, I'm gonna name a few dishes because Lizzy, I'm a chameleon.
Okay.
I never do the same thing twice.
I love it. I love it.
So I love making enchiladas. But I also love making a really good, I love making an oyster po' boy or oyster po' boy sliders.
Yes.
Too. I love making a good lasagna, like a veggie lasagna with like eggplant and zucchini and mushrooms. I just be making stuff up. Love making a good peach cobbler.
Is there anything you won't eat?
No.
Nothing that you won't eat?
I can't think of it.
I'll tell you mine.
What?
I don't eat okra.
Girl, I was just about to mention okra. I'm known for it.
I don't eat okra. And I only
Wait,
can
why
eat
is it the texture?
It's a texture thing. I was raised on okra being very like slimy and like,
they gotta fry it.
Nope.
Not deep fry, but you get the pan hot.
So now I don't.
No,
so now I'm not like okra.
You're not gonna try it?
I'll try anything.
We don't put it in the gumbo.
Yeah, okay.
No,
but inside things, I'll eat it because it's a mixture. I'm not like that type.
So you
don't
don't eat like an okra, like we make like an okra stew, like a okra, tomatoes, corn.
Nope, that won't be
over
what
rice,
I order.
Brown rice. So
I mean,
good.
listen, it sounds delicious if we just take out the okra. It's just like for some reason it's the okra thing.
What about eggplant?
Eggplant I like. I like eggplant. Like if you go into like Asian restaurants, they'll do like the kind of eggplant with like a marinade and like that. I love that.
Oh, okay.
But if you just say like eggplant just on its own, like, hey, I'm just...
What you mean on its own?
Like, you know how some people will roast an eggplant?
Oh, got
and they'll just put whatever toppings on it. I won't eat that.
Girl, I make a killer eggplant sandwich though. Okay.
See, I won't eat an eggplant sandwich.
You won't.
No,
it
probably
has
not.
blue cheese and parsley.
Everything but the eggplant.
Oh.
I can get down with blue cheese, parsley, just if you add something
we
else.
would do
if
it
you
just
add a
grilled
portobello
zucchini.
mushroom. If you put that portobello mushroom instead of the eggplant.
I can make a mean BLT with a portobello mushroom too.
There you go. Are you vegan though? Or do you eat meat?
No, my boyfriend, my man is, he's
vegetarian.
He's vegetarian.
Okay, yeah.
So I cook like a lot of really great vegetarian dishes.
We could do it all day. Jazz, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
honestly, I could talk to you all day about food and design and life. And I am always so like, one thing I think that even just talking to you, I think that you have an outlook that even with the whole conscious parenting thing, right? I think you are very aware of your effect on the world and effect on people. And I think that is a very rare skill. And one thing I do like to do at the end of every interview is just highlight like something that I've learned, right? Just about you. And that's something that I've just learned, that you have a very rare take, that you do make an impact and you affect people and you are very conscious about what you are putting out into the world. And I think that's a beautiful thing about you. So thank you. Thank you for sharing with us today. I appreciate you.
This was so nice, Lizzy, for real.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Thank you, Jazz.
Thank you.